Hi guys, it's Nancy. I have a new camera and I'm outside obviously, so I think I have shadows on me and stuff. Disregard all that. Today I just basically wanted to talk about something that a viewer had asked me about. Hi Priscilla. She had asked me about how I handle basically socializing and traveling, visiting relatives and friends and things like that. That's something that she struggles with while dealing with fibromyalgia. As far as traveling, I guess the short answer would be I just don't do it as much as I'd like. But when I do travel, I just basically build in time to rest. I mean, that's pretty much what I have to do. I remember my husband and I went to Disney World a few years back, and we went to like 3 parks in 3 days, and I did okay. I did okay with that. I took breaks, and sat when he walked and things like that, but it was the 4th day. We had gone to another park, I think it was Universal Studios or something, and I remember literally just not feeling well. Once we got there, I didn't start feeling better. I was just feeling worse. I was exhausted and just spacey and in pain, and I just could not enjoy myself. So I tried for probably an hour and a half or something, and I tried to even just sit on a bench, and let him go look at things, and it just wasn't going to work. So I had to tell him, I've got to go back to the hotel. I just don't have a choice. And it's tough. It's tough because you don't want to let the people that you love down, and also you're letting yourself down. You so much want to do things and enjoy things. I mean, I get that. You've paid money to go somewhere, and then you have to not do some things. But it just is what it is. You're not going to have a good time feeling that way anyway. So I've learned to basically just speak up and say, this is what I have to do. And to anticipate that, basically, because it's just the way it is with this illness. There's going to be times, sorry about the birds. It's a little bit loud out here, but there's going to be times where you're just going to have to go back to the hotel and take a nap or rest or take a bath or whatever you have to do to get through, and then hopefully be able to be recharged so you can handle the rest of the vacation. I've gone on a couple of shopping trips to Chicago with a really good friend of mine, and that's about 3 hours from here. She's driven, so that's very helpful. But I've had to do the same thing as far as shopping all day is exhausting. So there have been times where I've had to just say I have to go back to the hotel, and she understands that. And anybody that really does care about you, even if they don't understand the illness, and nobody really can totally unless they have it, they get that and they'll accommodate that. So it's just up to you to really be honest with yourself and with the people that you're with about needing those breaks. Another thing I will do on vacations is actually do some research ahead of time, and oftentimes schedule a massage for maybe about halfway through the trip, because I know that I'm probably going to be in some pain, and that helps me. It really does help me get through the rest of the vacation and to feel better. So that's an idea. Now, as far as visiting relatives, I, at this point in my life, don't have any close relatives that are more than an hour and a half away. So, I don't have to travel long distances really to see any of my close relatives. My father is about an hour and a half away, and he had a massive stroke 25 years ago, I guess it was. So, and my husband and I go see him once a month, and it's physically and emotionally exhausting. The emotional part comes in because he's my father, and it's hard to see him that way even after all these years. Of course it's difficult, and as he gets older, he was severely affected by the stroke with paralysis and aphasia, not being able to speak very well at all, and it's always hard to deal with that. My husband, thankfully, is the one that gets the wheelchair out, and puts it in the car and helps my dad into the car, and when we take him places to eat or whatever. I could go see my dad, without my husband, but I wouldn't be able to take him out. It's just too physically hard for me to do. But even then, with my husband helping me with those things, it leaves me exhausted for a variety of reasons, and I will almost always have to take a nap after those trips when we come home, or even sometimes in the car on the way home. I'll just have to lie down, and if I can't sleep, then that's where I do really deep slow breathing. Really helps me. I think it just gets oxygen to my blood and my muscles and things, and it helps me kind of recharge. Sometimes I listen to meditation apps and things like that I've talked about just briefly in previous videos, and I can expand on that down below. I can link a few things, and they will guide you through deep breathing and relaxation and things, and that's very helpful, especially if you're just starting to do that, to have that guidance. I've done it enough that I know how I need to breathe and how I need to think and what I need to do to be able to get the best rest that I can during that time. As far as socializing, when it comes to just friends and going out and doing things, going to dinner or going shopping, doing things, that's a little bit of a different animal because it's tough. I've lost some friends, throughout the 25 years of my illness, because people don't understand, and they'll just quit asking. They'll quit asking you to do things because you have to say no 9 times out of 10. At least that's been my experience. I will just be too exhausted. No matter how much I want to do something, I'll have to decline, and then some people will just stop asking, and it's understandable because they think that you're going to say no. What I've learned to do is always make sure that I thank them for asking, and then I will just say, but please ask again. And if they care about you and they're good friends, they will generally understand that. Especially if you just flat out tell them, I'm going to have to turn you down a lot of times, but it's just because I don't have the physical strength or the energy to do this. If I've been busy all week and then I'm asked to go somewhere or do something, I may really want to do it, but just can't physically do it. So I'll have to just explain that the best that I can. Or if it's someone you don't know well enough to explain that to, just make sure that when you decline, you say, but thank you for asking. Because I think that does help people understand that you appreciate being asked and that you would like to be asked again. I've also kind of had to terminate a couple of friendships, really good friendships, with people that just, even though they loved me, could not understand that I needed a lot of space. And not necessarily space, but I need a lot of breaks. I need a lot of time to rest, and by time that might mean 2 months before I do something again, and that's not what people who are healthy experience in their lives. They don't get that. So sometimes, you have to take it upon yourself to maybe end friendships that aren't working because people just aren't getting, just aren't understanding the boundaries. And it's hard. It can be very lonely. I get that. As I've gotten older, it's gotten easier, because I think when you're young, you definitely have a lot of energy, and you just haven't been through enough yourself to understand people who are chronically ill. I think as you get older and you experience more things like that, or more illnesses yourself, or things like that, that you learn to, I guess, sympathize or understand a little bit more, and give people more benefit of the doubt and more room when they say, I really appreciate your asking, but I just don't feel well enough to do that right now, and please ask again. So anyway, that's basically how I deal with traveling and socializing, is putting a lot of time, enough time in there for rest, speaking up, being honest with yourself and with the people that you're traveling with, or that you're spending time with, about, especially ahead of time, about saying, I am going to need to rest. It's just the way it is. You just do the best you can. So I hope that this helped you, and I will continue with this, with everyday, kind of practical things, and living with a chronic illness, and how you kind of navigate through everyday life. Please stay tuned, and thank you for watching. Bye.